What's up, everyone? Good morning. How we doing? I got my coffee here with you. Yes, I've maybe had half a cup already, but I got my oatmeal here cooling off, and we're going to dive into some training talk this morning, as always. So thanks for joining me for breakfast. Hopefully you got a cup of coffee and you can sit down and enjoy this too, or whatever you drink in the morning. So first off, if you guys like this page, feel free to subscribe, like, notification thing, whatever. Let's keep this thing rolling. Actually, I have a lot of fun, so I appreciate y'all tuning in. As always, I got my cornfield view right here. Not my cornfield, but the view I eat breakfast in front of. So let's talk a little bit about training today. But today, what's on my mind specifically is I want to talk about types of training, but again, training I like, which is a mixed approach to training, and what exactly a mixed approach is. So a mixed approach to training is as simple as it sounds. It's an approach where during a training cycle, you are focusing on a multitude of things. So a mixture of things. You might be focusing on strength, you might be focusing on power or plyometrics, but they're all there to an extent. So in a block or isolated approach, you might only be focusing on one thing. Like this month or week, we're going to focus on strength. In a mixed approach, you kind of do a little bit of everything. And I really like this because the athletes I work with are typically not ever able to just do one thing because their schedule doesn't allow it. I kind of like the idea from Louis Simmons as being 90% ready at all times. And I think that concept makes a lot of sense because if my athlete wants to go play basketball or baseball or do something, that I can't have them be like, oh, you can't do that because you're going to be really fatigued right now and broken down because of the training block you're in. Or if, they want to, let's just use a basketball player, for example. They want to go play basketball. And I'm like, well, you know what? We're in a strength block right now. We haven't done much plyometric, so I don't really want you in the court doing any plyometric loading. That doesn't seem very beneficial. And so the solution to that is a mixed approach. Now, the way you can make a mixed approach a little more targeted is you can think about each quality as dials. Like maybe you turn the dial up a little more to maintenance or to gain mode where you want to make positive gains. Maybe certain dials turn to maintenance mode where you're maintaining. So if I'm working on three qualities, let's say strength, power, and plyos, I can have three different qualities being emphasized at different levels. One might be gaining right now, and one might be maintaining. And a level of gain and emphasis might be more for strength and medium for power and maintain for plyos, or vice versa. And typically this is selected based on the individual's needs. If the individual isn't as strong as they like, or we think that getting them stronger would be really beneficial, we might put more effort and turn that dial up for the strength aspect. And the way we can do this is through intensity. So the effort we're actually putting in. So if we're doing plyometrics, for example, maybe we're doing our high level drop jumps or continuous hurdle hops or loaded plyo, whatever it might be. The more intense, but if it's not as intense, maybe we just do not as intense movements, or we do modification of volume. Because maybe for maintenance, you're like, look, I don't have the opportunity to do much volume, but to maintain it, we're going to keep our ability by messing with the intensity of it, right? So by doing so, we're going to have the intensity factor be something that we can control. And so when we think about our variables, we have plyos, power, and strength in this example. We can mess with it through sets, reps, and intensity. And based on the sets, reps, and intensity, and also number of exposures, which is another important one, how many times a week am I actually training it, we can begin to manipulate our training system a little bit to help one or the other be more emphasized, strength, power, plyos. So I really like the mixed approach for that reason. It's never at one time all going to be dedicating our energy to any one single quality. Very rarely is that the case unless it's just lagging that much. I'd rather have a mixed approach, because in a mixed approach, I can still know I'm maintaining, even making a little bit of progress, and maybe not going to be as much progress potentially as you could make if you just isolated that single variable and just hammered it home. But at the same time, you're not going to be losing other areas. But because these athletes want to play and do their sport, I'm not concerned that they're going to have either excess fatigue from just a massive strength block, or they're not having the exposure to plyos and ground contact, so when they go play pickup, you're concerned, or whatever it might be. I like a mixed approach. That's why I do it. Now, again, how you do a mixed approach can be up to you. You can have certain days where you have an emphasis. Not every day needs to have all three qualities. You can have one day of that week that's more strength, and one day that's more plyo, and one day that's more power. Within the week, it's mixed. So when I say a mixed approach, and I probably should have said this off the bat, if you've made it this far, you're going to hear it at least. I'm talking about in terms of a training chunk, a block, in terms of like a week. If I look at a training cycle, a microcycle as a week, well, that week is going to have mixed approach within it, not necessarily day to day. Now you can have it day to day, and I do like that to an extent. I like some sort of ground contact almost daily. There might be days that are more emphasized towards one quality or the other. So my food's cooling off, my coffee's cooling off. If I keep talking, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole there. I'm gonna cut it off there. Mixed approach, that's what it is. A mixed approach is where we're just doing many different qualities over a training cycle, microcycle. We can do that by emphasizing different amounts of each quality based on the athlete's needs. From there, you can say, look, I want to have a mixed approach either in terms of every day we're going to do a little bit of it, or maybe there's certain days that have larger emphases. And it's up to you as the coach to make that decision. Think about the number of sets, the number of reps, the intensity, and as well the number of exposures within a week to modify and turn those dials up or down. So I appreciate you guys listening. I hope you enjoy a little cheers action as we drink our coffee. I'm going to eat my oatmeal. I'm going to look at some corn, and I'm going to start my day off. Hopefully this helped your day. I appreciate you guys joining me. As always, thank you. I enjoy these quite a bit. Thanks for joining me for almost at lunch. This is not lunch. Thanks for joining me for breakfast. I appreciate y'all, and take care.